Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be reviewing the brand new Tom Ford Glow Tinted Moisturizer. This arrived just yesterday. I picked it up from Saks during their Friends and Family sale. So it was 15% off. I believe it came out to $59 plus tax, but this originally retails for $70. It has 1.7 fluid ounces of product inside, 10 shades available. I went with 5.5 bisque. It was a guess because I usually wear 6 natural in all of my Tom Ford foundations, but something that I've come to learn from Tom Ford is it's just best to get a color match every single time. I always like to set expectations before I begin, so let's talk about some of the brand claims. It is a water-based formula. It has hyaluronic acid, jojoba oils, antioxidants, it's vegan, paraben-free, sulfate-free, sulfite-free. It has SPF 15. It's meant to be radiant, hydrating, and perfecting. It is, of course, the tint that I have on my face right now, so I'm going to rewind and show you the application process. I'm excited to try this on my face. It's not a true first impression simply because I did open the box, opened the tube, and I removed the seal. That way I could swatch a little bit of the shade on the back of my hand to make sure that it would even work for today's video. So that's what it looks like. It seems like it might be a little bit too light. I did sunless tan my body the other day, but as I blend it out, it's so lightweight, it's so sheer, that I think it's going to work just fine. It has the same smell as the Soleil Flawless Glow Foundation. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, it's light, but I don't think it's too light. And because it's so thin, I am going to go ahead and apply this using my fingers. I'm going to squeeze out a little bit more. Now, I have nothing on my face right now except for moisturizer. See what I mean? It looks a little bit light just because my body's tan. If I didn't know any better, I would say I have nothing on my skin. I know I applied it, but it's so light, it kind of disappears. I tried to concentrate on just this half of my face, so there's nothing over here, and then I have the glow moisturizing tint on this side. From far away, I'd say the difference is pretty minimal. It's only when I look up close that I can sort of see a little something sitting in my pores right here. And not in a bad way, I just mean I can see it on my skin, because from here, I can't see anything. It feels really nice, it feels really moisturizing. But I don't necessarily think it even looks that glowy. It just sort of looks like my skin. Okay, now that I've rubbed that off by accident, I am going to apply a little bit more and I'm going to finish the face. I've squeezed out another full pea-size amount. I'm not trying to skimp, but I don't think it should take that much. I'm gonna apply a little bit more over here since I kind of rubbed it away. I lowered the light so I can lean in and hopefully you can see what's happening here. This is what it looks like applied all over my face. So far, I like it, but I don't love it. I do think the color worked out nicely, which is great. If I look very closely, I can see, especially right here, and a couple areas right here. It's clinging to the dry patches on my skin. And if I look on this side, I can see it sitting in my pores. And I don't think it's as glowy or radiant as I expected. I'll tell you what though, if you want to locate the dry patches on your face, you can just apply this tinted moisturizer and whoosh, there you'll find them. I did my best to lean in closely so that you could see this area on my chin that I can see up close, because it's starting to crack and look kind of crumbly right here. And again, it still feels really nice and hydrating. It just looks sort of dry. And I do have some dry patches right there because I recently had a bit of a breakout. Nothing outrageous, just some texture on the surface. So I do have some dry skin from it peeling away. But it doesn't look very nice. It's starting to break up a little bit as well. I don't necessarily think that's the fault of the tinted moisturizer. It may just be my skin. I will say that I own other products that I could apply and I wouldn't have that issue. So I'm going to touch that up. I'm going to finish my face and then come back because I have some thoughts and I want to do some comparisons. I'm back. My makeup is finished for the day. I created a very light look to go with our lightweight tinted moisturizer, of course. And I think I've changed my mind about this product 3 or 4 times in the last hour. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. Now that my face is finished, when I look up close, I really like it. I'm still not loving this area right around my chin, but I think that's my skin and that's not to be blamed on this. Before I had finished my makeup, when I had just the tinted moisturizer on, I actually Googled the Saks return policy. I wasn't sure if I could return it since I had opened it. Turns out you can, as long as you call customer service. But I didn't think it was something that I was going to hold on to. Now I've changed my mind. I think once your makeup is done, you can really appreciate it. It's one of those products that you have to wait to judge. So let's talk about this for a moment. I pulled out some of my favorite tinted moisturizers. So I have the Touche Clot All-in-One Glow from YSL, of course. I also pulled out the Chanel CC Cream, as well as the Le Beige Water Fresh Tint. This has been my main comparison. I've also been playing around with these. I have the By Terry CC Cream, as well as this old Tom Ford foundation. This is the Traceless. This has been discontinued, but this was a lightweight foundation. When I swatched the new Tom Ford Glow Tinted Moisturizer on my arm next to the YSL All-in-One Glow, I was sort of surprised because the texture is very similar. It was the first thing I noticed whenever I was rubbing this on my hand to see if the shade would work, was that it feels very wet, almost like that cool to the touch mousse, water-based hyaluronic acid. So there are a lot of similarities between these two, but they didn't look quite the same on the skin. They're both so lightweight, the way they blend, they just sort of smear over the skin easily. The CC cream is way too thick and creamy. I don't think there's a comparison there at all. But the coverage and the finish of the new Tom Ford Tinted Moisturizer are both very similar to the Chanel Water Fresh tint. That I did not expect. They're both more of a radiant but natural skin finish, whereas the YSL is more glowy. And I know glowy isn't a real word, but I am running out of adjectives here. The YSL looks more wet. It's more dewy on the skin. It feels very hydrating, even though it doesn't look the best with dry patches and pores. I think once you finish your makeup, as long as you dust on a little powder, you should be fine. I don't notice it as much now that my makeup is done. a little bit of dryness, but I think that would have been the case no matter what. And because it is so sheer and lightweight, I think most people will be okay with the 10 shades. You're going to have to color match yourself. Don't just go with the shade that you normally are with Tom Ford. And there might be something that works for you. Whenever I'm reviewing a tinted moisturizer, I have to compare it with the YSL Touche Éclat All-in-One Glow because this one is my favorite, so it's the gold standard. There are some similarities between them, but there are some major differences. For one thing, the texture between these two is so similar. As soon as I applied it on my hand, I immediately thought of this because they're both very sheer, very lightweight. You're not going to get a ton of coverage with either of these. They're both water-based. They both contain hyaluronic acid. This contains jojoba oils and antioxidants, whereas the All-in-One Glow is oil-free, which doesn't make a lot of sense because the finish of the Tom Ford is much more natural skin finish, whereas the Touche Éclat All-in-One Glow looks very dewy, very luminous. You would think that this one contained oil, but it just doesn't. This is 1.7 ounces, this is 1 ounce, which is the standard for foundation, but the Tom Ford retails for $70 and the All-in-One Glow retails for $48. The biggest difference between the two is the SPF. So Tom Ford has SPF 15 and the All-in-One Glow contains SPF 23. 23 is still pretty low, but it's a lot more than 15. So I find myself leaning towards the YSL. And I feel like this one is even more hydrating, so I don't think I would get that dryness on my chin. Even if my chin is really dry, if I go on with this, it's not going to cling to any dry patches, whereas the Tom Ford did a little bit. Similar to the By Terry foundation that I tried a couple weeks ago now that I hated. That was supposed to be hydrating, and it was drier than the Sahara Desert. I don't know if I will replace this Tom Ford. I want to keep it because I want to hold on to it and continue to wear it, try it throughout the rest of spring and summer, and see if maybe my mind changes again and I fall in love with it. But right now, for the price and the fact that it doesn't contain that much sun protection, I just would prefer the YSL because this is the type of product that I'm gonna want to wear on those days that I'm running out the door, and perhaps I skipped my sunscreen because I'm just very minimal. I'm just rushing through the steps. For the product that it is, the purpose that it's meant to serve, I wish it had a higher SPF. It's kind of crazy that they came out with this brand new foundation with skincare and it's SPF 50, which is amazing. I love that foundation. I wish I didn't, but I do. And then they come out with the Tinted Moisturizer and it's only SPF 15. That's crap. And there's not a ton of coverage, so it's not like a foundation that says it's SPF 15, but it's medium to full coverage, so you feel like you kind of have that mask face and the rays can't penetrate nearly as much. No, you are going to be very exposed to the sun with just this tinted moisturizer. It does look pretty. It is hydrating. If you have a lot of dry patches on your skin, you will probably hate it. I'm going to continue wearing it and I will update you if I change my mind. I'm going to wear it throughout the rest of the day. It's kind of tough to do wear tests right now because of course nobody's really leaving their house. Somebody asked me on my Soleil Tan de Chanel versus the new Le Beige Cream Bronzer video why I didn't do a wear test. And I would have under normal circumstances, but I just don't want to put out information that's inaccurate. I live in Florida, it's hot, it's already humid outside, I am living in the elements. So if that is going to be a factor with the foundation, I'll be able to tell you. But I'm just spending my days usually sitting around in air conditioning, so I don't think that's really the best wear test per se, which is why I'm going to hold on to it. So we'll see. When quarantine's lifted, maybe I'll retest this and I'll take this outside. I wish that this was $60 originally, not $70, but then $60 on sale, because I'd feel a lot better about it at $60. The price point is just too high. I think it's going to be very tricky to try to guess what shade you are right now online. Hold off unless you're really desperate for new tinted moisturizer and you want something that's not quite as dewy as the YSL. You prefer something with more of a natural skin finish, then you're gonna love this. Other than that, if you can wait, wait. Test it out in store, wait till it's out at counter, and you can really feel confident about making the purchase. And that completes today's review. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you found this information helpful. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, your questions down below. I'm very curious to hear from you guys. Did you pick this up? Have you tried it yet? If you have, what are your thoughts? Let me know. Drop me a comment. We'll keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything on my face down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.